Hey, I want to talk to you today about something real, something that I know a lot of people are dealing with but feel too ashamed to admit. It's about feeling like you don't have friends. It's about being a woman in a world that praises connections and friendship groups, but feeling like somehow you just don't belong. Maybe you look around and see other women surrounded by people, celebrating birthdays, having brunch dates, going on girls' trips. And there's this painful little whisper inside you that says, why don't I have that? Let me tell you something, you are not alone in feeling alone. Maybe life happened. Maybe you moved to a new city, or you've been buried in work or family responsibilities, or maybe you had friends, but you outgrew them, and now you're standing in the quiet, wondering if there's something wrong with you. But there's nothing wrong with you. Many women go through life carrying the quiet weight of loneliness, especially in a world that celebrates connection, social circles, and vibrant friendships. For some, it's an ache that's hard to describe, but it's there a constant reminder of what feels missing. You might look around and see women gathering for brunches, taking weekend trips, or just spending time together on a regular basis. And it stirs up this deep feeling of being an outsider, as if somehow everyone else has unlocked a secret to belonging that you missed. This pain can feel especially intense because often it's wrapped up in shame. There's this hidden voice that says, I should have more friends by now, or what's wrong with me? And as the years go by, these thoughts can deepen the sense of isolation, making it feel as though you're the only one experiencing it. But the truth is, so many women experience seasons in their lives when they feel disconnected. Yet we don't talk about it. Society conditions us to put on a brave face, to keep going as though it doesn't hurt. But inside, that quiet ache for connection can eat away at our confidence and self-worth. Maybe you're alone because life simply took over. Responsibilities, family, work, and even past hurts can lead to drifting apart from friends. Or maybe friendships just faded naturally over time, leaving you wondering if you'll ever find those kinds of connections again. Each experience brings a little heartbreak, and over time, it's easy to start doubting if close friendships are something you're truly meant to have. This pain is real, and it's okay to feel it. It's okay to acknowledge that there's something missing, that the loneliness you feel isn't something to push down or ignore. It's a human experience, one that so many women share, even if it's not often spoken aloud. Recognizing this is the first step in healing, because when you can allow yourself to feel this pain without judgment, you begin to understand that it's not a reflection of who you are or your worth. It's simply a chapter, a part of your journey that can change with time, awareness, and intention. Many women go through life quietly carrying the weight of loneliness, especially in a world where friendships are celebrated and social circles seem to define us. It's a unique ache, one that's sometimes hard to even put into words. You might scroll through social media or see others gathered together posting about brunch dates, weekend trips, or movie nights with friends. And there's a sharp feeling that can creep in, a feeling that maybe you're on the outside looking in, wondering what happened, how you ended up here, feeling separate from that world of connection. Loneliness has a way of amplifying insecurities, and it often brings along shame. That shameful little voice inside whispers, shouldn't I have close friends by now, or what's wrong with me that I can't seem to find my people? It's painful because it makes you question yourself and your worth, and as the months and years pass, it can get harder to shake off. You might feel as if there's something broken in you that just can't be fixed, as though everyone else has some magic ability to form close friendships while you're stuck on the outside. But here's the truth, so many women feel this way at one time or another, even if they don't show it. It's a hidden struggle, because we're taught to keep our chins up and act as though everything is fine. But the ache of loneliness doesn't go away just because we pretend it's not there. Sometimes this loneliness is the result of life simply moving us along its unpredictable course. Maybe a move to a new city created physical distance from old friends. Maybe the demands of work and family left little time to nurture connections, and over time, those connections just faded. Or maybe you've been hurt before betrayal, misunderstandings, or the sting of friendships that ended badly. Each of these experiences chips away at our willingness to open up again, to trust, to be vulnerable. And after enough disappointments, it can feel safer to stay isolated, even if it doesn't feel good. But that safety comes with a cost, a heavy cost that leaves you with an emptiness, a longing for something more. This loneliness isn't just a surface feeling. It can seep into every part of your life. It affects how you see yourself and your sense of belonging in the world. It might even make you start questioning your value or doubting if you're someone people would want to get close to. But that inner dialogue isn't the truth, it's simply the pain talking. Loneliness can be isolating, yes, but it's also profoundly human. Many women experience this, even if they don't talk about it. They carry that same hurt, that same sense of otherness, waiting and hoping to feel a connection that feels real and lasting. Acknowledging this feeling of loneliness is powerful. It's important to honor it instead of brushing it off, because when you do, you can start to see it as just a chapter in your life rather than a permanent reality. The longing for connection doesn't mean you're unworthy of it. It's actually a reflection of how deeply you care and your capacity for meaningful relationships. This pain is real and it's okay to feel it. By giving yourself permission to recognize and feel this loneliness without judgment, you're taking the first step toward healing. And with that awareness, you can open up to the possibility that this chapter isn't the whole story. It's just one part of your journey that in time can lead you toward deeper and more authentic connections. In a world that often highlights popularity in social circles. It's easy to feel like more is better when it comes to friendships. We see people with large groups, endless birthday photos, and dozens of friends on social media, and it can be tempting to think that this is the ultimate sign of fulfillment and connection. But the truth is, friendship isn't measured by the number of people you have around you. It's measured by the depth and quality of those connections. Quality friendships are built on trust, respect, and understanding, the kind of bonds where you can let down your guard and be completely yourself. These relationships are ones where you feel seen, heard, and valued for who you truly are, not just for what you can bring to someone else's life. And this level of connection doesn't happen with just anyone. It takes time, energy, and intentional effort to build, and that's why it's so precious. One or two truly meaningful friendships can be worth more than a dozen surface-level connections because they're built to withstand the test of time and life's inevitable ups and downs. A quality friendship is a relationship where you can be vulnerable without fear, where you're accepted without conditions. It's not about having someone to just fill the silence. It's about having someone who understands the things you don't even have to say. You know that this person will stand by you, not just during your best days, but also when things get messy. And isn't that what we're all looking for? People who won't flinch at our flaws or run when things get hard, but instead show up and say, I'm here for you. When you focus on the quality of your friendships, you start to let go of the pressure to be everywhere with everyone. Instead, you prioritize relationships that bring you peace, joy, and growth. These friendships don't require you to put on a mask or pretend to be anything other than what you are. They allow you to be raw, honest, and imperfect. And in return, you offer the same to the people you care about. This mutual vulnerability and authenticity create a foundation that's far more valuable than simply having a large social network. It's also important to recognize that quality friendships take time and patience to build. They don't happen overnight, and they're not always easy. But that's the beauty of them. They grow through shared experiences, both good and bad. Real friendships are often born in moments of challenge and difficulty where you and another person choose to support each other despite the hardships. Those shared trials build trust and resilience, forming a bond that is more enduring than a friendship based on convenience or proximity. Quality over quantity means choosing friendships that feed your soul. It's not about being surrounded by people just to avoid being alone. It's about surrounding yourself with the right people. It's about finding those few individuals who genuinely uplift you, support your dreams, and challenge you to be better. These are the friends who remember the small details of your life, who show up unasked, and who encourage you even when you're not sure of yourself. They hold you accountable, lift you up, and in their own way, they make life a little brighter and easier to navigate. When you focus on the quality of your connections, you also create space for yourself. You stop spreading yourself thin across numerous relationships that may not serve you. You stop feeling pressured to maintain connections that drain you or bring you down. Instead, you can invest that energy into the relationships that truly matter, the ones that bring out the best in you. These friends become your anchor points, the people you can rely on and turn to no matter what. True friendship is about finding those rare souls who resonate with you on a deeper level. It's about being there for each other in ways that feel genuine and lasting. Focusing on quality over quantity helps you see that friendship isn't about how many people know your name, it's about who truly knows you. Before we can build meaningful relationships with others, we need to focus on the most essential relationship in our lives, the one with ourselves. It's easy to overlook this because we're constantly encouraged to look outward for validation, acceptance, and companionship. But here's the truth: the quality of your relationship with yourself sets the foundation for every other connection in your life. When you know, value, and accept yourself deeply, you naturally attract people who reflect that energy and respect you in the same way. Building a relationship with yourself begins with taking the time to understand who you truly are, independent of anyone else's opinions, expectations, or judgments. It's about peeling back the layers of conditioning and asking yourself questions that often go unexamined. What brings me joy? What are my passions, my dreams, my values? When you take the time to get to know yourself in this way, you're no longer reliant on others to give you a sense of identity. You become grounded in who you are, which gives you the confidence to show up authentically in all your relationships. This self-relationship also means embracing self-compassion. Many of us are our own harshest critics, quick to judge ourselves for any perceived flaws or mistakes, but just as we offer kindness and patience to others, we need to extend that same compassion to ourselves. Building a strong relationship with yourself involves being gentle with yourself, allowing yourself room to grow and make mistakes without tearing yourself down. When you cultivate self-compassion, you stop looking to others for constant reassurance and validation because you become your own steady source of support. Learning to enjoy your own company is another powerful part of building this relationship. In a world that encourages us to always be busy, it can feel uncomfortable to spend time alone. But solitude doesn't have to mean loneliness. It can be a sacred space where you recharge, reflect, and connect with your inner self. When you can find peace in your own company, you become less dependent on others to fill that void. You begin to seek relationships not from a place of need or fear of being alone, but from a place of genuine desire to connect and share your wholeness with others. Setting boundaries is a key aspect of a strong self-relationship. When you respect yourself, you set limits on what you'll accept and where you'll invest your energy. Boundaries aren't about keeping people out, they're about protecting your well-being and honoring your own needs. When you set healthy boundaries, you communicate to yourself and others that your time, energy, and mental health are valuable. And when you live by these boundaries, you naturally attract people who respect and honor you, because you've shown them how you deserve to be treated. A strong relationship with yourself also means recognizing and appreciating your worth. Society often teaches us to equate our value with our relationships or achievements, but true self-worth comes from within. It's understanding that you are enough exactly as you are without needing to prove anything to anyone. When you feel whole and worthy on your own, you stop seeking friendships or relationships as a way to fill an internal gap. Instead, you're able to approach others from a place of fulfillment and confidence, which leads to healthier, more balanced connections. This relationship with yourself is not something you build overnight, it's a lifelong journey. It's about consistently showing up for yourself, listening to your inner voice, and respecting your own needs and desires. This journey is filled with highs and lows, and sometimes you'll find yourself struggling or feeling disconnected from yourself. But that's okay, because every step you take to nurture this relationship, every time you choose to put yourself first, you're creating a deeper foundation for happiness and resilience. And that self-awareness is what helps you navigate life's challenges with strength. Ultimately, building a strong relationship with yourself creates a sense of wholeness. When you know and love yourself, you stop relying on others to fill voids or make you feel complete. Instead, you become a source of support, love, and peace for yourself, and this radiates out into all your relationships. You'll find that the people who come into your life are drawn to the real, authentic you, not a version that's been shaped to fit someone else's mold. And when you're rooted in this sense of self, you attract friendships and connections that are deep, fulfilling, and aligned with your true self. When loneliness creeps in, it's natural to want to resist it, to view it as something we need to fix or escape. We've been conditioned to see being alone as something negative, as if the absence of others somehow reflects a lack within ourselves. But loneliness can be more than just an empty feeling. It can be an invitation to turn inward, to explore parts of ourselves we've perhaps overlooked or set aside in the busyness of daily life. Instead of fighting the feeling, what if we could reframe this time as an opportunity for self-discovery, a chance to reconnect with our true selves in ways that might not have been possible if we were constantly surrounded by others? Self-discovery begins with curiosity about who we are, what we truly value, and what brings us joy on the deepest level. It's about asking ourselves questions that we might not take the time to consider when our focus is constantly on others. What are my dreams? What are my passions? What truly matters to me? By shifting our focus away from the longing for companionship and toward a journey of understanding ourselves, we open up a world of insight that can bring fulfillment and a profound sense of purpose. This time of solitude allows us to rediscover our own inner voice. So often we're influenced by the expectations, opinions, and beliefs of those around us, and it's easy to lose track of who we are without those influences. But in loneliness, there's a silence, a space that gives us the freedom to listen to ourselves without the noise of outside input. This is a time to find out what we think, what we feel, and what we desire. It's a journey back to our core, our most authentic self, unfiltered by the need to please or conform to others' expectations. Embracing self-discovery also means giving ourselves the permission to experiment and explore our interests, even if they're things we've never tried before. This might be the perfect time to take up a new hobby, learn a skill, or dive into something that's always piqued our curiosity, but we've never had the chance to pursue. Each new experience, each interest we explore reveals a piece of who we are, building a sense of wholeness that doesn't rely on anyone else's presence. In these moments, we start to understand that we are enough on our own, that we have within us the capacity for fulfillment, joy, and growth. Loneliness can also provide a unique opportunity to examine our own habits, patterns, and beliefs. In solitude, we can reflect on the past relationships or friendships that may have shaped us for better or worse. We can identify recurring themes in our connections with others, seeing clearly how we may have compromised hidden parts of ourselves or chosen relationships that didn't truly align with our values. This introspection allows us to let go of what no longer serves us, clearing the path for relationships in the future that are healthier and more aligned with who we are. Through self-discovery, we also cultivate self-compassion and resilience. The time we spend learning to accept and appreciate ourselves helps us become more resilient, more grounded in our own sense of worth. By understanding our strengths, our weaknesses, and everything in between, we build an inner confidence that doesn't waver based on the opinions or presence of others. We realize that we can stand on our own, that we are complete, and that our value isn't determined by whether or not we're surrounded by people. As we shift our focus to self-discovery, we also come to realize that we are our own greatest source of companionship. We learn to enjoy our own company, to find contentment in our own thoughts, dreams, and passions. This isn't about isolating ourselves from others, but about building a strong foundation within that supports us regardless of who is or isn't in our life. When we understand ourselves deeply, we no longer feel the need to seek validation from others or to fill our lives with relationships that don't nourish us. Instead, we're able to attract connections that are meaningful, grounded in mutual respect and understanding because we know who we are and what we truly want. In choosing to see loneliness as a path towards self-discovery, we transform it from a feeling of emptiness into a powerful experience of growth. We begin to trust that this period of solitude isn't a void, but rather a fertile space for finding our own strengths, dreams, and passions. The insights we gain in these quiet moments become the foundation for a more fulfilling, authentic life, one that isn't dependent on anyone else, but can be deeply enriched by the right people when they come along. Taking one step forward may sound simple, but it's a powerful act of momentum, especially when you feel stuck or lost. In moments of stagnation, that single deliberate step, no matter how small, represents a shift in mindset, an acknowledgement that change is within reach. When you take one step forward, you are initiating a sequence, breaking the inertia that keeps you from progress. It's not about transforming your entire life overnight. It's about sparking movement, building momentum one step at a time, and trusting that each action will accumulate towards something meaningful. This step can be as small as dedicating a few minutes to an activity that pushes you closer to your goals. It could be making that first phone call, writing down a new plan, setting a micro goal for the day, or even simply deciding that today you'll approach life with a different mindset. These actions might seem minor on their own, but they're immensely impactful because they reinforce the belief that change is possible and within your control. Every time you take a step forward, you tell yourself, I am moving, I am capable, I am choosing progress over passivity. Moving forward in this way requires a shift in focus from overwhelming long-term goals to manageable, immediate actions. Often we're paralyzed by the enormity of what we want to achieve or change, creating a mental barrier that makes action feel impossible. But by committing to just one step, you minimize that psychological weight. You break down your path into manageable increments, removing the pressure of perfection and focusing instead on action. This one-step approach is grounded in cognitive psychology, where incremental progress helps you build self-efficacy, reinforcing the idea that you are capable of handling and overcoming each small challenge as it arises. Taking one step forward also allows you to remain adaptive. Life is unpredictable, and we rarely have all the answers before we begin. But by moving forward step by step, you give yourself the freedom to assess and adjust as you go. You learn from each step, using every bit of progress as a guide for what to do next. This creates a dynamic approach to growth, where you're continually responding to what works and what doesn't. Rather than committing rigidly to a predetermined plan, you're cultivating resilience by allowing each small action to inform the next. Moreover, this forward momentum reprograms your brain to seek progress rather than perfection. By setting the bar at one step, you're eliminating the fear of failure that often comes with high stakes or all or nothing thinking. Research in behavioral science shows that small actions, consistently repeated, lead to habit formation. When you repeatedly take one step forward, you create a cycle of positive reinforcement. Your brain begins to associate progress with a sense of accomplishment, and this reinforces your drive to continue. Over time, what started as one small step becomes a series of habitual actions, and your momentum propels you further than you initially thought possible.